Hello everyone, I have a walkthrough on how to beat this week's mutation, Instant Karma. So I played on the Asian server and I was able to beat it early this time, but because I'm on the Asian server, I only have mastery level 26 here. Okay, so let's go hop back into this mutation. It is said that you are your own worst enemy. Amon has turned that idiom into reality. The harm that your enemies inflict is dealt back to them in full, and every enemy's death threatens to take several of your own forces with them. Show Amon that no sacrifice is too great to achieve victory. So this is on the Chain of Ascension co-op mission. First mutation is double-edged. Your units also receive all the damage they deal, but they are healed over time. So, interesting mutation. Probably, or not probably, I've already beat the mutation, so it's not too terrible, I guess. I thought it was going to be worse, but it's not so bad. This one's the nasty one. Mutually assured destruction. Enemy hybrid units detonate a nuke upon death. Main thing you have to do is just run away from them as soon as they're about to die. Just leave like one unit to do the finishing blow and then run away. And then self-destruction. Enemy units explode and deal damage to nearby player units upon death. Once again, this one's not so bad. Honestly, it kind of sounds terrible, but yeah, it really isn't that bad. The only really nasty one is the nuke upon death. That's the only one that really gets to you. And if you're at the very end of this mutation, you'll see what I mean. This one is nasty at the end, but in the beginning it's not so bad. At the end there's just like endless waves that keep coming, and you're in this little tiny area, and it's just like everything blows up, and then your units also die. So it gets a little nasty towards the end, but yeah, not so bad overall. Okay, now I only have one commander to play with, so I'm stuck with Vorazun. Now, I'm going to be using the Dark Archons. Let's see, right there. And that's about it. I'm going to be using a ton of Dark Pylons. Dark Archons and Dark Pylons are going to be the combo I'm using. And I'm going to be using a ton of Photon Cannons. So I'll have Shadow Cannons, I guess is what people normally call them. And I'll just spew Shadow Cannons all over the place. That'll soak up all the additional minerals. And then in the meantime, I'm just going to be using Dark Archons. Towards the end, I'm going to throw in some of these Centurions because I just wanted extra forces, and we just had to make one final push to get to that win. But anyways, yeah, mainly going to be using Photon Cannons and Dark Archons. For Mastery Skill Point allocation, I've got everything in Dark Pylon range for Power Set 1, Power Set 2, Shadow Guard duration, Power Set 3, initial and maximum Spear of Adun energy. Okay, we'll hop into this replay here. Going to watch solo. And my teammate for this mutation is the Overmind. It's Quasar. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Someone will correct me again. I believe someone posted in the comments already how to pronounce it correctly. Or the Overmind may correct me. But anyways, yeah, the Overmind is Quasar. Go check out his YouTube channel. That's the with the 0 Overmind. Very good at StarCraft. Say that in most of my videos. But yeah, definitely go check out his YouTube channel. You can learn a lot from him. Okay, so right from the start, I'm just going to pump out a bunch of probes. I'm going to use a Dark Pylon right from the get-go. Instead of building a pylon or warping one in, I'm just going to use our ability at the top bar up here. I'm going to deploy a Dark Pylon. That'll be our power field where I'm going to build a forge and gateway and a couple other things. And then I'm just going to invest in building in 2 assimilators right away. That way we'll get that extra gas income. And it's definitely a good investment for later because we're going to be wanting a lot of these Dark Archons, and we're going to be using a couple of their abilities. So we have to get upgrades from the Dark Shrine for their abilities. So yeah, right here we've got the Dark Shrine, and there's a Mind Control ability, and then another ability which allows them to start with full energy, and we're going to want both of those. So yeah, lots of gas for the Dark Archons, and then we need upgrades. And we're also going to be getting shield upgrades from our forge. I'm not too on top of it throughout this mutation. I should have gotten my shield upgrades a little bit more quickly, but overall we do decently well. And later on you guys are going to see me surplus a huge amount of minerals, and I should have been building a ton of Photon Cannons with those minerals. I just got a little bit behind. I was trying to ensure that we didn't die, so it was a little bit intense, but it's okay. I surplus those extra minerals. I could have played a lot better, and I'm sure some of you probably could have done a lot better than I did. But this strategy should work for all of you. Hopefully you should be able to do it. So yeah, we've got Vorazun and Swan here. Okay, so I used my first deploy dark pylon right at home base here, covered up my nexus, most of my probes, and a forge. And then over here, I create one dark pylon and I build a bunch of photon cannons right here. This is just to prevent any type of early aggression that comes and tries to push Janara back. So we wanna try and prevent Janara from getting pushed back here. And I believe the Overmind may build a couple defenses in here. I'm not entirely sure. He might not. He might actually just start building some siege tanks. But anyway, yeah, now I'm focusing on, I threw down a gateway here. And I'm going to, in just a moment here, I believe, throw down, yep, dark pylon right here. And now I've got the majority of the Overmind stuff cloaked as well.
A group of enemies seeks to support Amon's champion. Do not allow that to happen.
Honestly, it may have been beneficial. Well, nah. I was going to say it may have been beneficial to put my deploy dark pylon ability right here. Then I could cover my gas. But I don't have any probes going on the gas, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so here's that first wave I was talking about. There's some Zerglings sitting here just slowly pushing these guys forward. So these photon cannons are going to help clear these guys out. And the Overmind just uses Apocalypse, so that's really going to help too. Starting to get shields level 1 here. And now we're throwing down our Cybernetics core. And the Overmind's starting to clear out our expansions, which is very helpful. If you are, or oh, I'm sorry, did I say Swan earlier? I meant Stukov. Yeah, it's Vorzan and Stukov. Stukov is ideal for this mutation. Anyways, if you are the Stukov player, make sure to use your Apocalypse to help clear out these expansion areas. And your, what's it called? Here, I'll just, you know what? I can go peek. The Alexander. Make sure to use your Alexander to help clear out the expansions as well. And you'll see in a second here where the Overmind uses them. Anyways, I'm throwing down another dark pylon here. And I'm also throwing down some more photon cannons at this front dark pylon. And that's what we're going to do pretty much this whole mutation. We're just pretty much going to inch forward. I'm not playing as Karex, but I am playing with a lot of defenses while playing as Vorzan. And it's working out really well, actually. Shadow pylons are really good. I did not realize how good they were. I believe it was Valtour posted in the comments how person in the comments posted how good they were. That person's name was Valtour. And I didn't necessarily know exactly. I had to try it out. But yeah, I tried it out for this mutation, and they worked great. Yep, so here's where the Overmind threw down the Alexander, and that's going to start clearing out these units now. Okay, so I got shields level 1 just a second ago. And now I'm throwing down the Twilight Council. You can only get the Twilight Council after you get the Cybernetics core, so we've got that in the way, or coming down. I threw down some extra photon cannons for the Overmind just in case something attacks him. And I threw down a bunch of photon cannons right here in front of our base. And as you can see, all of these are cloaked. I made sure they're in the perimeter. I haven't built any other pylons out here to make sure that I just get everything under the cloaking field. So I want to effectively use that. And I'm building on the outside of this field just so I can make the best use of this space from this dark pylon. Okay, so I'm warping in some more photon cannons here for defense for Janara. Or just for if we move any units here. Extra defense on the way. And then now here comes the first hybrid wave that's going to push Janara back. And we get really close to losing here. This is the hardest part specifically because of me. The Overmind has a ton of units, and I don't have any units. I've been building a bunch of photon cannons for defense, and I don't have anything to really help the Overmind push with yet because I've been working on getting the Dark Archons, and it's not till just about now I get the Dark Shrine built and a couple more gateways. Also, we were not prepared for Zerg air. There was a ton of air units. Thank goodness we had a bunch of photon cannons that do anti-air damage. That's going to help us a lot here. But yeah, it was really nasty and unexpected. Anyway, we'll be able to finish off the rest of this stuff. I've got photon cannons here and here. So any anti-air, I mean, we've got the anti-air handled. It caught us off guard a little bit. Okay, so in the meantime, I threw down a Shadow Pylon right here to be able to cloak the Overmind Siege Tank. And I'll try to start building some photon cannons here. And we're just going to try and inch our way in here. We're going to do whatever we can to just push in here and finish off these hybrid. I believe there's 3 hybrid right here. And the hybrid behemoth is going to be the worst thing to kill. Yeah, this thing already has 27, 28 kills. Holy cow. I mean, it is killing these broodlings, but still. Alright, so now what I've done is I've thrown down, or I used time stop ability here. And now the Overmind was using his Infest structure ability, but that ran out. And now we're just kind of wasting the rest of our time stop. I didn't use it at the best time, but yeah, we're running out of time here. It did, however, delay Janara getting pushed back, so that was something helpful. And I've got a lot of resources and gas. And if you guys are in my situation right now, what you should do is turn these all into warp gates, and then get your upgrades, get Argus Crystal that allows Dark Archons to start with full energy, and get Mind Control, allows the Dark Archon to take control of a targeted unit permanently. So make sure to get both those upgrades, but yeah, start warping in some Dark Archons to help kill these guys off. The Overmind did just finish off the Behemoth, so that's good. And I just used the Black Hole ability to suck these guys into a hole. I didn't even want to look. We were so close. I was just like, nope, just going to focus on the hybrid over here. Hopefully we don't lose. And yeah, that was, yeah, just like one more second maybe. One more second we probably would have lost that. That was awfully close. Oh, so glad that we were able to finish that off. Thank goodness. Okay, now we're starting to push the hybrid, or now we're starting to push Janara back, and we just finished off that hybrid wave. I am warping in some more photon cannons, finally getting our expansion nexus here, and I'm starting to build some orbital assimilators here to get that automatic Vespene gas harvesting. And now I also have some photon cannons here, and they're just doing some extra work for us, kind of just sitting in place, because there will be a couple of waves that come in from this side over time, and these guys will help distract. So definitely, if you can, put some photon cannons right here. And that'll help prevent enemy waves from taking out your expansion nexus, so that'll be very beneficial too. Okay, now would be a good time for me to start getting shields level 2. But like I was saying earlier, I kind of forgot about it for a little while, so I'm a little bit slow to getting it. However, I do have the Argus Crystal upgrade already, and now I am getting Mind Control for those Dark Archons. And we have 5 Dark Archons out, so now we will be able to start doing some work. And when you can, try to take very valuable units with your Mind Control. You cannot Mind Control Ultralisks, but you can Mind Control Broodlords, you can Mind Control Mutalisks, and you can Mind Control Corruptors. If you're going up against Mass Mutalisks and there's a couple Corruptors, I'd honestly suggest Mind Controlling the Corruptors, just because Corruptors have a bit more HP and they're a little bit more tough against Mutalisks. So I would advise getting the Corruptors. Mutalisks, if you're going to Mind Control them in a big group of Mutalisks, see, like if I Mind Control one of these Mutalisks right here, that Mutalisk is going to instantly die because all the other Mutalisks are going to focus it down right away. So if you come across a bunch of Mutalisks, what I did right here was I used the Confusion ability that forces enemy units in the target area to attack each other for 10 seconds. And that'll quickly take out all those Mutalisks. And I realized that that's actually really powerful in this specific mutation. That works out really well. So I would definitely advise using your Confusion ability if you have a bunch of Mass Mutalisks or Mass Zerglings. They'll die very rapidly in that case. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I should be using Chrono Boost on our Forge right now and getting shields level 2. Don't need to be Chrono Boosting our Dark Shrine anymore. Currently just working on kind of clearing everything out here. Starting to mass up a bunch of these Dark Archons. And I've Mind Controlled an Overseer and 2 Mutalisks so far. But like I was saying, I didn't do it, but I'm looking back at this now. I should be focusing on Mind Controlling Corruptors when I start to see them. And once we start getting to those Broodlords, start to Mind Control those Broodlords. Also, in the meantime, I'm making a bunch of probes and trying to fill up this supply line here. We've got both of the automated, or both of the orbital assimilators, which are automated, going right now. So we've got a ton of gas income. That's really good. We've got a bunch of minerals too, but we definitely need some more. We definitely need some more probes at our supply line. Just a couple more. And we're just about to finish this hybrid off. I need to move my Dark Archons back, otherwise they are going to get blown up by the Behemoth nuke. The behemoth nuke is nasty. Those little hybrids, however, they just detonate a little tiny nuke. It's not very dangerous at all. And then this is where these photon cannons come in handy. Just got a couple photon static defense in place, and any type of little waves that come, you're going to be able to take them out pretty easily. Okay, let's see. Don't think I have... Alright, I just dropped... Okay, yeah, I just dropped down another Dark Pylon. So once again, we're just trying to slowly inch forward here. The Overmind had his Apocalypse called down, so that was doing some work for us. And the Overmind is infesting structures here, so that's helping to distract these guys. And he's sending in all of his infested civilians. So those... Or volatile infested, I guess they are. Yeah, these are all volatile infested. Oh yeah, and infested civilians, so he's got a little bit of both. And he's using Diamondbacks, so definitely very good for micro. But the fungal snare, for some reason, wasn't working on these air units, or all of the air units at least. Some air units, it was... I don't know if that was a glitch or what, but yeah, fungal snare was not working on some of the air units. That was kind of strange. Okay, now going to start moving forward a little bit with these Dark Archon. Once again, I was trying to mass them up. I really do get a good, decent force in here. But I'm going to make a couple mistakes ahead, and my army size is going to dwindle eventually. Okay, finally getting shields level 2. Warping in some more pylons at our Dark Pylon here. We've got this completely saturated. And just making sure to stick together next to each other. Oh yeah, here's the other thing. Whenever you have the chance, make sure to mind control lurkers. Lurkers are awesome. They're going to be very helpful in defending Janara, especially because they're in a structure, and unless the opponent has detection, these guys are just going to stick in place and constantly hammer away at the enemy units that come and try to attack Janara. However, there are hybrid forces here, so we are forced to go kill them. Otherwise, Janara will get pushed back and die. Okay, so right here would be an ideal spot to use the Confusion ability. And you can't see it very well, but you can see these little red designs, symbols that are going over these units every now and then. All I'm doing is I'm just bumping in here, using Confusion, and then bumping out. It would be ideal if I could start mind controlling these Broodlords and try to drag them back. Unfortunately, I didn't do very good micro. I should have kept my Dark Archons on the ramp and then pulled the Broodlords back. But yeah, as I was pulling these guys back, I lost one, and then these two almost died already. So yeah, mind control this. Oh, that guy died. Alright, so yeah, ideally I would mind control all of the Broodlords, get them out of there, and then start attacking and start moving back in. Because they have that free unit, the Broodlings, or Swarm Seeds I guess they're called. I guess it's a little bit different while they're in the co-op mission. Anyway, yeah, Broodlords, ideal. If you're playing against Zerg, that is. And the other really nice thing is I'm pretty sure the Broodlords have really good range, so they can throw those Swarm Seeds and actually kill off these hybrids without even the Broodlord dying, so they'll be out of the range. So that works out really nicely. Okay, so we cleared out that whole area. Like I was saying, the Overmind, he sent in a bunch of his volatile invested civilians and infested marines, sent those all in here, and he sent in his Diamondbacks, and he kept microing back and forth with the Diamondbacks. And then I did the same thing with these Dark Archon. I would just micro back and forth and use the Confusion ability over and over. And when I had the opportunity, used the mind control ability to capture those Broodlords. And now I'm finally going to use the recall ability that these Dark Pylons have. It's about time I finally started to use that ability. And then right here I'm going to use the Confusion ability, make these Mutalisks start killing each other. And I'll probably use the Confusion ability again if I'm paying attention. My attention must be somewhere else right now. Yep, I think I'll use, or I might actually mind control. Yep, here we go, I'll use Confusion ability. And yeah, you see how awesome that is. These Mutalisks are attacking each other. Makes them really easy to get killed. Okay, then we're moving forward again. So now is where I have this huge, just ridiculous surplus of minerals and gas. What I should do right now is throw down, for you guys at least, because this is already over with, throw down a bunch of pylons, like around here and here, and then throw down a bunch of gateways, and then turn them into warp gates, and warp in a huge amount of Dark Archon. Once you're out of gas, then with the rest of your minerals, warp in a bunch of photon cannons and keep on deploying these dark pylons. Then you'll be sitting really good. You'd probably finish this in one go, because there's this big hybrid wave that's going to come, the final one. It's going to spawn right here. That wave delayed us for quite some time, just for the simple fact that I didn't have enough units out. The Overmind was doing pretty good, I think. I mean, we both were struggling. This isn't that easy of a mutation, but the thing is, like, we could have won so much more fast. Hindsight is 2020, right? The vision is 2020. We probably could have finished this in the next, like, let's see. I'm guessing the next, like, 4-minute StarCraft time, if I had all those extra Dark Archon, just because we would have been more prepared. Who knows? Who knows? And if I had all those these photon cannons warped in, if I had made use of all of these resources, maybe would have won right away. But because I didn't do that, it's going to be a bit of a back and forth push for the end here. Oh, and I may have... Oh, yep, just now. So, see, I think the same when I look back at this gameplay. I'm like, oh, have I gotten Shields level 3 yet? But no, I didn't until just now. So now I finally have Shields level 3 queued up. That is going to be helpful just because we're getting so delayed at the end here. But yeah, if you can, get Shields level 3 as soon as possible. And because I am using Dark Archon and they are attacking, I would upgrade your ground weapons. I mean, these guys do take damage too when they attack because of this double-edged sword. But honestly, I didn't really notice it affecting my units very much. It said you receive all the damage that your units deal, but at the same time they're healed over time. And I really didn't notice these Dark Archon taking too much damage from their own attacks. Maybe that's because their DPS isn't that high or something, but whatever it was, it didn't affect us very much. Now here would be an ideal spot to use a bunch of confusion abilities, and I think I got surprised and I lost all of my units. The huge mistake I made. I wasn't paying attention, and all of the Zerg units dropped right on top of my Dark Archon, and I lost everything. It would have been great if I was paying attention, moving my units back a little bit, and used a bunch of confusion abilities, just dropped it all down right here on this ramp. All those Zerglings and Mutalisks would have killed each other. Wouldn't have lost any of my army, and I wouldn't be at 62 supply right now. That's just terrible. It's terrible. And I was getting kind of worried that we were going to lose at this point, but I said no way we're losing. So I come back here, I start making some more gateways, I start dropping some more pylons down, and eventually I'm going to get a bunch more production, and I'll start building a bunch of Dark Archons and Zealots. But yeah, these photon cannons I've had in place and the Dark Pylon, that's actually paid off over time. There was a wave earlier that we were able to prevent from moving in, and then this wave that just came in, we were able to help prevent because we had these buildings right here. Okay, so those hybrid finally moved down that ramp and started chasing after us, and we're just finally finishing them off. The Overmind's doing a really good job of microing back and forth here. In just a second, he'll have them finished off. I think... Oh yeah, I was all the way back here, so I'm finally moving my Dark Archon back up. What I should have done is use that recall ability when my units were over here and just like grabbed them and then warped them all the way up to the front with this Dark Pylon I had. But oh well, I've got a bunch of Dark Archon out again. I've got some more Mutalisks again. So we're starting to replenish the army supply. And eventually I do need to turn these into warp gates. We'll build some more pylons and warp gates again. And the downside is, if you don't have a huge army for this last final wave, once you kill the hybrid, those guys will stop warping in. So you won't have to worry about them. Actually, I take that back. I think if you wait too long, another hybrid wave will warp in. But it takes a long time for that to happen. But the big downside, what I'm trying to get at is, if you do not have a big enough army, these Zerg waves just keep coming over and over and over. And they will be the end of your game. They will finish you off if you do not mass up a big enough army and if you do not use all of your resources. I've got 5,000 surplus minerals right now. Don't have very much gas because I've been constantly warping in these Dark Archons. But yeah, right now, I either need to make a bunch of warp gates and warp in a ton of these Centurions, not Zealots, Centurions. And I also should be warping in a bunch of photon cannons at this dark pylon down here. That way, every time one of these waves spawns, I can move back and then have these Zerg units focus on my photon cannons instead of my Dark Archons. The other thing that I should be doing is the Overmind has his SCV here, and I should have been focusing with my probe to constantly be pushing Janara forward. There's no hybrid here, so we could just push Janara all the way in right now and win. But once again, I wasn't paying attention. I was so focused on trying to take out this huge, massive Zerg army down here. I mean, it is important because there's a ton of Broodlords here, but I should have been helping to push Janara more forward because she's in kind of a risky zone. She doesn't have that far to get pushed back and for us to lose the mutation. So whenever you have the opportunity, always try to get Janara as far forward as possible. That's my advice. And then the other thing I should be doing is, if I have mind control available, is capturing these Broodlords, because these Broodlords are real nasty. Every single time they throw down those swarm seeds, which are the broodlings. Oh yeah, it is broodlings. Every time they throw down those broodlings, they die, and then they use that self-destruction ability as soon as they die. So they're even more deadly than they already were. It's pretty nasty. So yeah, that's the other reason to mind control Broodlords. You need to stop. Look at this. His infested can't do anything against these broodlings because they're so ridiculous. So yeah, finish off, either capture the Broodlords or just focus fire him down. Ignore the broodlings if you can. Okay, and then once again, if I had helped the Overmind moved up Janara, we would have won right here. Because these two enemy waves are coming in. They don't have anything to stop us. We could have just pushed straight in here. But I go back and try to defend here again because I wasn't thinking straight. Oh well. So the Overmind does a really good job of intercepting this wave over here. That was really good. Used a bunch of these, I think he used Infested Structure ability, and he brought over some Diamondbacks. And then over here, I had some structures in place that was distracting these guys for just a second, and the Overmind sent over all of his infested Marines and infested civilians. So that worked out quite well for us. And I would say this mutation is decently difficult if you don't... Yeah, see, here he finally says move her up, and I'm like, oh, right, I completely forgot about the main objective. This mutation is decently difficult if you forget about moving Janara up. You're just making it so much more hard for yourself. So always try to keep her in the front. And then just overall, I would say this mutation is decently difficult, but we got pretty lucky and we were able to end up beating this mutation on our second try. But if you guys don't keep Janara forward, you're going to run into the same problem as us. Once again, probe's not sitting on Janara. So here we are, just waiting. And I did, if you do get stuck in a position like I did, or we did, I guess, do make a bunch more of these gateways. And I finally did that towards the end. I said, okay, I need to soak up some of these minerals. So I warped in a bunch more gateways. I'm going to turn these all into warp gates, and then I'll probably, or I did start to warp in some Centurions here. You can see I do have a couple. And I am using that confusion ability, so that's helping us clear these guys out. And I think this is it. I think this is our final push here. I'm going to move these probes here. Hopefully, if I pay attention, just waiting on it here. We're just going to speed up for a second here. Aha, here we go. Yeah, finally. So yeah, like I said, honestly, if I hadn't made so many mistakes of forgetting about Janara, just so many times I could have been pushing Janara forward, we could have won this probably 7 minutes ago, or even 8 minutes ago, StarCraft 2 time. But honestly, it was my fault for a lot of this on this. But we still won. Still won on our second try, so can't complain. And Chain of Ascension is always a pain in the butt. This co-op mission is pretty tough in the first place.
And so ends Rakshir. What a pathetic display.
Oh, we should go back a second here. Don't want to be stuck in that very end part, but yeah, so there you have it. That was our mutation. We did it on the Asia server, and we didn't even need completely maxed out mastery skill points. Did it with mastery level, I think I was only like 21, and the Overmind was like mastery level 76. So yeah, this one's very beatable as long as you use the right strategy. I don't even think this is the ideal strategy for this mutation. I think this would have been a lot easier to beat if we had been playing as like Zagara and Stukov. Stukov, I think, definitely is good for this, but I think Zagara would have been ideal with those Bane lanes and Scourge. I mean, your units take damage when they attack, but if your units just die on impact, what's it matter? So, yeah, that would be my advice. Use Zagara and Stukov. But, yeah, if you want to use Vorazon and Stukov, go for it. I've got the whole strategy laid out for you guys. So, I hope this was helpful for all of you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more walkthrough videos like this. Leave a like if you liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.